Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and now that NaNoWriMo is finished, I bet everybody is just comparing themselves to everybody and just making each other feel worse about themselves, and sometimes you are your own worst enemy. How do we make this stop? I'd like to point out the obvious, that this is not a usual filming location, it is not the living room, and it is not the office, it is not even the basement. This is such a nano place to film, but my back's hurting because baby bump is getting bigger and just being on the floor is what's comfortable for me at the moment, so there we go. Look at this bump. Plus I'm wearing like 2 t-shirts underneath this hoodie because I'm freezing. I thought pregnant women were supposed to get hot flushes, but I have not received one. I'm constantly cold and I don't like it. But once again, we are getting off track before the video has even begun. I'm sorry. Today we are going to be looking at how to stop comparing yourselves to other people. And by that I mean, I have 5 things that kind of help, and I'm being a massive hypocrite in all of this because there is no real way to stop comparing yourself. You are always going to look up to some big name writer and think,
God, I wish I could be like them, or why haven't I received the same success? And when they were my age, they'd already done this, that, and the other. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why does my writing suck compared to theirs? Why is nothing going right? Why are some random people who have never written anything in their lives suddenly coming out with masterpiece bestsellers, and I'm still stuck on the first draft of something I've been writing for years now? Why?
There's a lot of questions and there's a lot of self-hate in that, and it's really toxic when you think about it. It is impossible to stop comparing yourself because you always want to improve, you always want to get better. So these aren't so much ways to stop comparing yourself to other people, but ways to make it easier and twist things around to make it into a more positive light, so you are not constantly beating yourself up about it. You are just acknowledging that there are differences, but you are still progressing. And I've got 5 of them. The first thing to remember is that, yeah, so-and-so may have had their bestseller published at the same age as you, maybe even younger. Yep, somebody could have had their first draft be a complete success. There are many stories out there, but there's one thing to remember. That's their life, not yours. You will never know somebody's full 100% situation. You have to remember that you're working on your own time, in your own life. This is your life, your goals. And the major thing is your time that you are trying to manage. Yes, they could have been published at, I don't know, 20, and you could be there sitting at 25 thinking, why haven't I been published yet? But then they could have had a complete free ride and just pick of the draw luck. You're the one who's probably had to work 2 jobs, or had a family to support, or God knows what. You are working on your time. No 2 lives are ever exactly the same. You are working at different paces, you are working at different goals, you are working on different things. That is one of the big things that you need to remember. You can't have a competition when you are dealing with something that is coming from your own mind. You can't have a competition with someone who just wanted to do their own thing, much like you are wanting to do your own thing. These are your ideas, this is your brain, your mind, your life. So you're doing things your way. Your way may need altering, your way may not be something that you're completely happy with in that moment, but it is something that you can work on because it's all you. It is all you. There is no need to bring anybody else's situation into it when it is all coming from your mind and you're trying to slot it into your own busy life. It's you. It's all you. Number 2, you are going to be your own worst critic. It's easy to say that when, you've handed your work off to beta readers or had your work actually be critiqued and it's not gone exactly to plan, but when you think about it, none of the things they're going to say is worse than what your own internal bully is going to say to you. Your internal bully, which I am on very close terms with mine, unfortunately, they really need to bugger off. Your internal bully is constantly going to be beating you down. They are going to be reminding you of all the other successes. They're going to be reminding you of things you could have done differently. They're going to be trying to convince you that you're a terrible writer when you're not. That is just anxiety and stress and probably tiredness, and you might be hungry. That is just all this stuff piling up on top of you. It is not real. You are a talented writer, you are dedicated, and you are going to get there. You just need to find ways to sing. This is something I cannot comment on because everyone's brain works differently, but you do need to find yourself ways to breathe. Like, take breathers, take breaks from writing, have calming methods, have moments where you just don't do anything to do with writing. And yes, that internal bully may be there again thinking, oh, well, you could be doing this instead of wasting your time doing that. But there is no need to listen to him. You are just doing what is going to help you and clear your head in order to make sure that these bursts of anxiety and self-doubt don't creep up as often as they normally would, because you have found coping mechanisms. Find your coping mechanism, please. And if you have any to share with me, I would greatly appreciate them. Number 3, remember that you have something that no one else does. And again, this sounds counterproductive, because in that sense you are comparing yourself to other people by thinking, well, what do I have that nobody else does? They have this, they have that, what do I have? But what I mean by this is, you have an idea that no one else has done before. They might have done something similar, but they have not done it your way. They have not used the same characters as you. They have not created the same world as you. You created something pretty unique in its own way, and you are trying to bring it forward into something solid and something developed. That is all on you. Your particular writing style, your particular way of describing things, the characters that you are developing, the world that you are building, every single thing has something that came completely from you. No one else. And that is something to be proud of. That is something to cherish, and that is something to run with. It's so hard to have an original idea nowadays. So when you do come up with an idea, but then you're there thinking, oh, there's no point doing that because so-and-so's already done a story like it, or oh, well, someone else has already written a world similar to mine. No. No. That is a negative way of comparisons. Turning it into a more positive way of comparisons is, yeah, they've done something in this way, but I want to do something and make it my own. Not plagiarizing, that is something completely different. This is taking a concept or a premise that is pretty, not cliche, or a stereotype, but pretty well known. It's a bit of a trope at this point, because everything is a trope. There is no such thing as a non-trope. And you just take those and you make it your own, because all of your ideas are coming from your head. This is all on you. This is you creating something brand new. Why shouldn't you be proud of that? You have that little spark, that little thing, that little idea, that particular style that no one else does. You should run with it. Number 4, there is a bit of advice going around that if you feel like you are comparing yourself to someone too often, or that you feel that you don't have any original ideas, then you should just stop reading and watching whatever it is that either gives you inspiration, or, you know, the people that inspire you, the people that you want to be like. That you should just cut those people out of your life, because clearly it's negative, and that clearly you shouldn't be taking any notice of them if you're just going to be comparing yourself to them. That is bullshit advice, okay? Do not do that. Never ever stop reading and watching and observing and learning and expanding. Never stop. I know that you're probably thinking, well, I really love this book series and I want to write something that has a similar concept but on a different route. But because I've read this, now it's in my head, oh, I wish I'd never read it. Well, no, that still caused some inspiration for you. That is still giving you something to learn from and something to expand. If you keep reading and keep watching movies and keep, you know, exploring new genres and stuff like that, then your mind is growing. You are constantly picking up on new styles and new tropes and new plot twists and new everything. New ways of writing. You could explore different genres that you've never really tampered with before, but now because you've read something that's in a genre that you're not familiar with, it might make you want to try something out in that genre. You just cutting yourself off from all this media and material actually causes more harm, because you are cutting yourself off from a learning experience and from getting new ideas and inspiration. I mean, the people that you're comparing yourself to, They're the people that probably inspired you to start on this career path in the first place. Why would you then turn around and just cut them from your life because you think you're never going to get to that bar? You're setting your own bars. Just keep exploring, keep reading, keep watching random TV shows, keep researching, just keep doing everything you can, because it just brings in so much more motivation and inspiration. I'm using genres a lot of it as an example, but writing styles, different points of view, different ways to invoke emotion in your writing. If you see how someone's done it, then you're picking up hints and tips of how to do it yourself without copying, because you're going to be making it your own. Just do not stop. Whoever said originally that cutting all of this is a good way to avoid comparing yourself is just the biggest idiot. Because it shouldn't be a competition, it should be a learning experience. You can admire it, you can learn from it, you can develop from it, you can even envy it at times. I mean, that's a pretty inescapable thing to do, but you can learn from it and you can enjoy it, and it can still be your escapism. So why would you want to get rid of that? And number 5, you have to remember that you started this story. Something out there gave you this idea, something out there inspired you to start writing, so you should hold on to it. Keep reminding yourself why you started this in the first place, because then it just keeps reminding you why you should keep going. Why, even though so-and-so's done this and so-and-so did that, and oh, I will never compare and all the rest of it, you still started something. And sometimes starting something is the hardest damn thing to do because of all of these fears. But you started. You did it, and there was a reason, there was a motivation, there was an inspiration, there was a spark. So what is it? What is the reason? Why did you start this? You started this because you wanted to prove that you could do it. That you had a story that you wanted to tell, that you had an experience that you wanted to share. You can run with it, but you need to hold on to it, because that will be your driving force when you're feeling low, when you're feeling down, when you feel like you're never going to build it yourself up to be like these great names or whatever. No, hold on to it, because you will get there, and it will feel so much more rewarding when you do. Comparing yourself to other writers, other successes, etc., it's inevitable and it's pretty impossible to stop yourself from doing. This is why I'm saying that this is not a how to stop yourself from comparing yourself to other people or whatever. My brain's gone. But it's not that. It is just ways to remind yourself that even though you are comparing yourself to other people, you are still valid and you still matter, and you are still doing this for a reason, and those reasons are your own, and you can do this. Yeah, it would be great to be, a bestseller within a year. It would be great to have your books on every shelf in the biggest bookstore, etc. But that takes work, and that takes effort, and it takes a lot of luck. But if you're willing to put yourself in that position, and if you're willing to go through the stress of starting a project like this, and if you're willing to put up with your own internal bully and anxiety and all the rest of it, then it's just going to feel so much more rewarding. And then when you do make it big and people are comparing themselves to you, being like, oh, I'll never be as good as you, you can turn around and be like, no, bullshit, because I was in your position and now look, so now I know that you can do this because I can. Especially with NaNoWriMo coming to an end and different word counts and different, oh, I won, no, I didn't win. The comparison bullies are going to be coming out in your own head, and that's why I made this video. There is a lot going on at the moment, but we can do this. We can all do this if we all put our minds to it, and we all learn to just take a damn breath every now and again and calm the frick down. You're gonna get there, guys. Comparisons or otherwise, you are doing great, and you started something, and you had an idea, and you should be proud of yourself. And I hope you are, because I am proud of you. So I'm going to end this video here before I go even more rambles and stuff like that. So yes, I hope you're doing well, I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.